Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, why industrial action may be looming at Bahamas Power and Light. Police sending a warning to celebrate safely this holiday weekend. And Roy Seligman spells his way into the record books for the Bahamas. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, new tourism statistics revealing that more than 440,000 stopover visitors came to the Bahamas in the first 6 months of 2021, according to Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar, who says arrivals were impressive in June.
Approximately 440,000 stopover visitors came to the Bahamas from January of 2021 to June of 2021. This represents about 50 to 53% of sales in 2019, the last year we have sensible data for.
Following discussions with U.S. Airlines, he says the government hopes to increase airlift. In May, de Aguilar said visitor arrivals are increasing every month after 64,047 non-residents bought travel health visas into the country. March saw more than 60,000 people purchasing travel health visas. As for the Family Islands, the tourism minister says they're making a faster comeback.
The Family Islands, of course, is also doing exceptionally well. They have been doing probably better than Nassau for the first 6 months. Nassau is catching up now. The Family Island component of tourism is far more resilient than, say, Nassau, and less prone to shocks, and so they bounce back quicker.
In other news, the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union president warning industrial action could be looming at the power company after meetings with the minister responsible failed to produce favorable results. He's once again calling for a meeting with BPL executives. Kyle Joaquin reports.
The union leader says even after that meeting with the deputy prime minister, key issues have still not been addressed. And he said to make matters worse, he can't even get an audience with the executives at BPL.
We will do what we have to do in order to have union members, to order to have workers' rights respected.
Wilson says there are only a few matters that have been agreed to, and only with the help of Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister. He said from human resources to simply getting a response from the powers that be at BPL, nothing is happening to address a long list of concerns for employees. He warned that industrial action could be near.
It is always an option. It is always an option. Withdrawal of labor is always an option, especially this weekend. Those of us in maintenance, we don't have to work. We're not obligated to work this weekend. And so it is an option. And being on a holiday weekend, that's a serious option that we're looking at.
Wilson says the union would never do anything that places the service or comfort of Bahamians at risk. However, he added employees' needs and concerns are important as well. He said after meetings with the minister this past week, little progress has been made.
He is not fully familiar with the full operations of BPL, so it's hard for him to make decisions on those matters. And I understand, and I know some issues are going to go beyond 14 days, but we want to get a commitment, and we feel as if BPL is not really showing the full commitment, or the executive of BPL is not showing its full commitment to the union.
We got no response from BPL when contacted, but when we reached out to Works Minister Desmond Bannister, he said when discussions are completed, he's sure we will get a statement. In the meantime, trade grievances have been filed through the Trade Union Congress, the umbrella union, which Wilson says is a sign of what could be a major demonstration to come.
I'm still trying the conciliatory process. I'm still trying to sit to the table, and I will exhaust every option available to me before I have to take other certain actions.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Head of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit and Cable Beach Police Station Chief Superintendent Zhivargo Dames threatening to crack down on illegal social gatherings and other COVID-19 infractions this holiday weekend. Jasmine Brown has that.
Chief Superintendent Dames says the police and COVID-19 Enforcement Unit will be extra vigilant this holiday weekend, keeping an eye on social events at homes, businesses, and beaches.
It's a big holiday for us, celebrating the independence of our country, and persons definitely will be in a festive mood. And so we want to say to persons that, yes, we want you to celebrate our independence and to enjoy the holiday, but you have to be responsible. we are still in the emergency power orders or in a pandemic, and so we're asking persons to please be responsible.
Topping off the list of no-nos from Chief Superintendent Dames was illegal social gatherings with unvaccinated attendees.
According to the orders, if you are fully vaccinated, yes, and that's all of the persons who attend in that social gathering must be fully vaccinated in order to attend that social gathering. And so I want to assure you also that the COVID Enforcement Unit, we have put together a special operation just for this holiday. And so if we find that persons are at social gatherings, we will be stopping by to check if persons are fully vaccinated.
In the House of Assembly last month, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said fully vaccinated people can now engage in private gatherings and other social events in homes and elsewhere. Minnis also stressed that it is up to the host to ensure all guests are fully vaccinated. Dames insisted the COVID police will be cracking down on that particular offense. He said hosts and guests will be subject to fines for non-compliance.
The emergency power orders give us the powers, persons inside the COVID Enforcement Unit, to issue citations for social gatherings in the amount of $2,000. Also, every person that is patronizing or attending that social gathering will be fined $300. And so it's a hefty fine for social gathering.
Chief Superintendent Dames says police and COVID-19 ambassadors will also be keeping a close eye on restaurants and beaches, which are popular spots for holiday revelers. He says so far this year, COVID officers have conducted approximately 800 site visits at beaches across the country. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Bimini residents slamming the implementation of a new testing protocol requiring all travelers in and out of the island to have a negative RT-PCR test. Here's Jillian Gray.
Ludicrous. It's very inconsiderate because there is no labs in Bimini.
How are these new measures going to be economical to us, and who is giving counsel to these measures?
Abrupt, inconsiderate, and a burden to Biminites is how residents describe the mandatory requirement to have a negative RT-PCR test to travel to and from Bimini. They say with no lab on the island, it'll be hard to abide by that rule, especially in times of emergency.
By the time we get the results back, the test that would have been taken would have been expired. So I don't see the sense in that.
Residents are calling for a review to that restriction as they say they don't mind taking a rapid antigen test, which is available on island. This is just the latest restrictive measure placed on Bimini in recent weeks. A mandatory 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew was imposed after cases on that island skyrocketed.
The officers are out with their ticket books open up, ready to give you a ticket. Like they're harassing you. 7:05, you getting harassed to get in the house, but I just getting off. Whereas Resort World workers, still to work, getting home 10, 11 o'clock in the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because the resort is fully open. But you have local businesses that have to shut down by 5 o'clock in order to get home before 7. Or they will be slapped with a $500 fine, and I feel like it's unfair.
This photo advertising a Bahamian Independence weekend at a local resort is evidence that there's not a level playing field, according to Roll, who says officers are more lenient with tourists.
The same practices that is expected of us as citizens or residents of Bimini is not the same practice that is expected of a guest.
Overall, Bimini residents say they're willing to do whatever it takes to get case numbers down, as they say safety is top priority. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Bahamian speller Roy Seligman finishing in 4th place at the 2021 Scripps National Spelling Bee, making history for the Bahamas in the process. But his performance left quite an impression on all watching last night.
I'm Roy Seligman and I'm from Nassau, Bahamas.
Ambystoma, a type of salamander. When Nassau native 12-year-old Roy Seligman was asked to spell the word on Thursday night, he did so with confidence. But it's what happened next that seemed out of place. Seligman's answer was placed under review to determine if he spelled the word with an I or a Y. We've heard about reviewing plays in major sports, but in a national spelling bee?
I'm sorry, Roy. It's spelled ambystoma is spelled A-M-B-Y-S-T-O-M-A.
Thank you,
Roy.
You're amazing, and we're so proud of you, and we wanted to make sure we made the right decision. Congratulations for being here. You are a role model.
Okay, thanks.
The Lyford Key International School student left the stage with grace, but not without leaving a big impression. Seligman was the last remaining international contestant in the 2021 Scripps National Spelling Bee. Seligman qualified for the Scripps Spelling Bee 3 times, but didn't get a chance to compete last year when the bee was canceled.
My favorite word is Clypeaster, Clypeaster. It's a sand dollar. It's because I find many of them when I'm diving.
Seligman went into the competition hoping to make it to the semifinals, and he went well beyond that.
Congratulations, Roy. Well, what's the weather looking like as Independence festivities kick off? Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christine, and welcome everybody for your Friday evening look at weather. Of course, a very warm day around the islands. Temperatures getting up into the 90s and those triple digits making it feel very hot. We are into the low 80s, 82 outside our studios, just a few clouds, mostly high. Winds are very light out of the southeast at 5 knots, and your field slight temperature still in the upper 80s to near the 90-degree mark. Beautiful conditions around the island. That high-pressure system remains in charge. And if you notice some milkiness across the central and southeastern islands, that's courtesy of some Saharan dust. That will be with us for the next couple of days. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, a rise in domestic disputes causing a backup at the courts. Plus, the motorist in a viral video pleads guilty. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
A motorcyclist who caused a commotion and was caught on camera hitting a police officer has pleaded guilty to several charges. Jared Higgs tells us more.
23-year-old Julian Butler, seen in the video wearing the gray sweater, pleaded guilty to a slew of charges on Thursday related to a viral traffic stop. According to the Nassau Guardian, Constable Tyrese Smith pulled Butler over for running the traffic light at Cordo Avenue at around 2:30 on Monday. Prosecutor Sergeant Samantha Maya says Smith then asked Butler for his driver's license, but he didn't have one. When the officer went for his ticket book, Butler fled, leading to a wrong-way chase on Tawny Williams-Darling Highway that was seen widely online. It ended, according to Maya, when Butler fell off his bike trying to go over the median on the highway. Maya further told the court that Butler charged the officer, punched him multiple times in the face, and tried to grab his gun from his holster. Off-duty Sergeant Travis Strawn intervened with his firearm in the low-ready position. Butler pleaded guilty to assaulting a peace officer, resisting arrest, requirement to carry government ID, driving in a manner dangerous to the public, driving a vehicle without third-party insurance coverage, and driving a vehicle without a valid driver's license. While he admitted those 6 charges, he pleaded not guilty to unlawful possession of the scooter. The 23-year-old's lawyer, Glendon Roll, asked for the court to consider giving his client a conditional discharge. He says Butler was angry after being kicked off his scooter and suggested anger management classes for his client. The matter was adjourned to July 15th, and Butler was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until sentencing. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
A 23-year-old man appearing before Chief Magistrate Joy Ann Ferguson Pratt today on murder and attempted murder charges. Bethany McDermott has the details.
A second man was charged in the magistrate's court in connection with the July 24th double shooting that left a man dead. 23-year-old Nathan Rule was charged alongside 19-year-old Mario Cuffey, who was arraigned on Monday on the same offenses. Prosecutors allege that the 23-year-old killed Gladstone Francis and attempted to kill Savannah Francis. According to police reports, a man and a woman were at a home on 1st Street, Coconut Grove, when a light-colored mid-sized vehicle pulled up and a man opened fire on them. They were both transported to hospital where the man later died. In court today, Rule, who was represented by attorney Jomo Camel, was not required to enter a plea and bail was denied. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until November 30th. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a significant increase in domestic violence cases and landlord-tenant disputes, according to Chief Justice Sir Brian Moree, who says those cases are contributing to the backlog.
The family division has seen a significant increase, particularly in domestic violence issues, which probably arose from the lockdowns and other social factors. So we've seen a discernible increase in the family division.
Multiple countries around the world have reported a rise in domestic violence matters, particularly during lockdowns. The Chief Justice says the courts have seen an even bigger increase in landlord disputes.
And this is not surprising because obviously during the pandemic, people were laid off, they were furloughed, they were not able to pay their rent. And the landlord gave them a certain indulgence, but they're still having difficulties. And of course, when rent is not paid, the landlord sometimes can't pay the mortgage because they use the rent to pay the mortgage. Right? So that has created serious issues, and we've seen a very large increase in those types of cases.
Still to come, our Kyle Joaquin tries his hand at plaiting straw. Plus, Shawnee takes first place in Monaco. The details when Our News returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Still celebrating things that are Bahamian through and through, our Kyle Joaquin gets a one-on-one lesson on how to plait straw, and his teacher is a native of the island of Exuma.
Straw plaiting, a skill passed on from generation to generation. For many, it's a way to make a living stemming from the days when life was much simpler.
I was making a living in a store from after I come to school because school was just to grade 6. You did not know other thing to do but go plait and go for crab and feed the goat and sheep.
It was in Farmers Hill, Exuma that we met Debbie Flowers, a native of Rollville, Exuma. Full of energy and an upbeat spirit, she was thrilled to give us a crash course on how to plait straw.
Okay, when you line the plait, you have to know how to big in the plait. You know how to know when time to piece in the plait. When the string gets short, you have to put it on the right side and on the wrong side. Come, this is the way.
So it's over and under?
Over and under.
Over one and under two?
3.
Under 3?
Yeah.
That's a special...
I do it in different designs, so you can make your own design, the prettier basket.
So this thing over here, then?
See? You can play. The other one, you can plait it on the 2 sides. If you have some plait, you could sew it on 2 sides, according to the style of the plait.
Thankfully, Debbie has patience. When it was my time to try, she ensured I got it.
I do it in a different design.
Okay, so go under 1.
Yeah.
Go under 1.
Yeah, and come back up. Yeah, you got it.
All right.
You know how to get it. You don't have to people how to get nothing.
You want to plait?
Yes, you can plait.
And then you do it like a little pro, you know?
Yeah. Go there, get it.
There you go.
Hey, you got it. You got it. You got it. You have it.
I was okay at it, but still not there where I could do what the pros do and make a living from it.
Yeah, you have to go in the bush, carry a knife, cut the tops, put the tops out to dry. After done dry, you trip your string, different size string. 15 string, 11 string, 9 string, and take shoe black.
This here is...
It's just that's the top. Hold the top string in your hand. Let them see you have string. You find string in Exuma, you find somebody who you know in Exuma.
These straw braiders make anywhere between $25 to $45 per ball of plait. And by the end of my lesson, Debbie and I were best friends, chilling under a tree near the beach.
I also sew fun and all.
So what?
Fan with your hand and the needle.
Oh, yeah?
I bring none over here.
That's okay, all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, that's right. So hopefully one day you can hire me now.
Yes, man, no problem.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers.
You're welcome.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, DeAndre Ayton and the Suns take a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals. Marcellus Hall has that and more tonight in sports.
All right, thanks a lot and welcome to our Sports on a Friday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Shawnee Miller-Weibo is back on the winning track, literally and figuratively. Shawnee running in Monaco today and looking pretty good, I may add. Looking with a great performance, coming from behind. We don't have the video for you, but we can tell you this much. She put up a great time, 22.23, good enough to win that 200-meter race and sharpen her way up as she heads now towards Tokyo, which we'll have as the Olympic Games get rolling down there towards the end of this month. But great win there for Shawnee Miller-Weibo, getting it done in the 200 meters. On to the NBA, where DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns once again back on the court, looking to take a 2-0 lead against the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's take a look at some highlights. So DeAndre Ayton and the Suns back on the court playing against the Milwaukee Bucks, already up 1-0 in the best-of-7 series, looking to make it 2-0 on the way to taking commanding lead there. Suns getting it done 118 to 108. As for our guy DeAndre, he did pretty well on the evening. Not so much at the point side, but definitely made his impact felt. Here's a look at how he finished up. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. And again, making his presence felt throughout the entire contest. Looks as if the Suns are feeling pretty comfortable about themselves and looking forward to taking a 3-0 lead as the series shifts back to Milwaukee for Game 3, which will come your way tomorrow night. But a great job there for DeAndre Ayton and the Suns to now go up 2-0. And there you have it, folks. Your check on sports for you here on this Friday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Happy Independence, everybody. Meanwhile, back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Well, cabinet ministers share their hopes for the country. That's coming up when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. It's been a hot and humid start to the long holiday weekend. Greg has a look ahead over in the Weather Center.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. Of course, that high-pressure system remains in charge of our weather. It's generating those very hot temperatures across the islands. We also have some Saharan dust that's moving across the Atlantic and into our area. That is also keeping us rather hazy and warm as those temperatures continue to soar into the low 90s, and your feels-like temperature also in the triple digits. Else is moving towards the north, a persistent trough across the northwest Bahamas, sparking a few showers, but that trough will continue to pull out towards the north and away from us. Boating conditions for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While a caution flag remains in place for the central and southeastern islands, east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, 4 to 7 foot seas. High tide will be shortly after 8 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Wednesday. I got on my Independence colors. Make it a safe and a joyful Independence holiday weekend. Everybody, back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Well, as the Bahamas celebrates 48 years of independence, some cabinet ministers are sharing their hopes for the future of the country. Minister of National Security Marvin Dames says he hopes Bahamians can come together.
Every contribution is important if we're gonna move this country in the direction in which it needs to go. I'm proud of the Bahamas, this country I call home. And I've committed myself to give of myself wholeheartedly to ensure that I do my best to contribute to building this nation not only for my kids, but for all Bahamians.
After a challenging year due to the pandemic, Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd says he's happy the economy is reopening. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, says he hopes more people focus on the things that unite us as Bahamians.
We are an industrious people and will continue to preserve and to be resilient and creative no matter the circumstances. That we are a prosperous people, immensely talented, and that we can do anything that we put our minds to, and we have done so, and we will continue to do so.
We are stronger as a country when we are united. We are stronger as a country when we work together. And so that's really what, I enjoy and I'm hopeful for.
Thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Charlie Bahama's Summer Independence Special airs tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. But stay tuned for the 48th Independence Celebration, a celebration of life. Revive us again, starting right now. Happy Independence, Bahamas.